Hey everyone, this is WobblyWallaby. Today I tried Rune Master at different deposits and account levels to see if it's worth playing. This class has long been one of the most busted classes in the game, but it takes a lot of effort and money. In the unofficial Ragnarok mobile Discord channel, the community members in the Knights channel had posted this famous graphic. How real is the depression period for Rune Master? I tried with 11% semi-free-to-play account, a 70% semi-pay-to-win account, and a 140% whale account. Also, exciting news, I have 10 codes to give away for C, Global, and EU. In the comment section, please answer, which long-term class are you working on? Be sure to include what server you're on, as well as your Discord ID so I can give you the codes. Winners will get the codes on July 20th. Where do these accounts fall in the curve, and what kind of builds do I use? Stay tuned to find out. Thanks to my guildmate Jesus Yamato for sharing his build with me. He has helped carry many people including me over the years with his crazy strong Rune Master. His Rune Master is what I strive to be, and his build definitely helped me improve my Rune Master's damage. Here's a clip of him shredding through the Legend Golem. This is before the tier upgrades and the shadow equipment. That's the dream for many, but they are often hit with the harsher realities. First, let's begin with skills. Here are the swordsman skills. Here are the knight skills. Here are the Lord Knight skills. Here are the Rune Knight skills. For Rune Masters, invest in all skills. Next, for Prepare for Elite, there's Endure, One Hand Quicken, Head Crush, Concentration, Lord's Aura, Enchant Blade, and Sink or Swim. For Menu Bar, there's Auto Attack, Prepare for Elite, Sword Parry, Asphyxia, Death Binding, and the Death Awakens. Next for Advanced Runes, here's the placement of the attribute and skill runes. Jesus doesn't use Spirit Attack on the bottom right, he instead uses the Elemental Attack since he often converts. You can swap in the runes depending on what you're using. For the Joint Beat rune, have a high first and third line. For Anger Reflex rune, if you have the third line, you can remove debuffs, which is nice. I'm not so lucky. Next, for Darkness Awakened Star rune, having the third line to not consume Frenzy and a high first lines are ideal. Next, for Death Cage Star rune, a good second line helps you gain HP back quickly. Next, for Fortitude Mark rune, a high critical damage percentage is ideal for PvE. Next, for Power Strike rune, a high first line is good. Next, for Rune Stones, which are unique consumables that Rune Masters can craft, use Runestone Tiresias for the critical damage and strength, Runestone Vercana for the MDef, and Runestone Urge for the SP recovery. These are great for PvE. Next, for gear, I'll show some of the gear I've seen Jesus share, as well as some of the ones I've seen other people use. Swapping equipment is good if you want to maximize your damage against a target. First is Offhand. If you're converting to another element, then Dragonbone Shield with physical damage plus 18% random attribute is good. Otherwise, if you're sticking with Holy, Lamp of Soul Guidance with MDef 36% random attribute is good. The extra Holy attack comes in handy in Legend instances where the Holy damage reduction is very high. For enchants, the Armor Breaking 4th enchant or physical damage increase are ideal. For cards, Alice Star card is good for MVP damage, or Late King's Chess Knights card for physical attack and damage to large monsters plus 20%. Next for armor, Horrorbone's Battle Gear is ideal. The random attributes for damage and magic damage plus 15% or damage dealt to large monsters plus 20% are ideal random attributes. For enchants, the Sharp 4th enchant or physical damage increase are ideal. For cards, Leader's Demeanor's card for the increased damage is great, or Poitata's Star card for damage to non-demi-human monsters. Next for garment, Royal Knight's Cape is the one I've seen most people use for the critical damage. Campaign's Manteau is also good for the auto attack damage. For both, the 12% auto attack damage random attribute is ideal. For enchants, the physical damage increase or critical damage are ideal. For cards, the Dragonfly Star card for increased auto attack damage per 12 agi is ideal. Next for footgear, Boots of Balance is ideal with the damage and magic damage plus 6% random attribute. For enchants, physical damage increase or critical damage are ideal. For cards, Time Holder Star card is ideal and a lower budget card is the Familiar Star card for the magic attack percentage. Next for accessories, you have some choices depending on what you're hitting. Typically, you're using the Floral Hair Clip for the magic attack and the 15% magic attack random attribute. However, if you're converting to fire, then the Essence of Scorching Flame with the 12% fire attack random attribute is ideal. If you're converting to water, then the Fluorite button with the 12% water attack random attribute is ideal. For enchants, the physical damage increase or Sharpblade 4th enchant is ideal. For cards, popular choices include the Moigwai card against ghost monsters, Scarecrow against the undead, or Ultraman against demon or brutes. These will give you great damage but requires you to swap cards. Some generic cards include the Valkyrie Wrathgrassi card, the Zipper Bear Star card, or the Greatest General card. Also, the newly released Biochemistry Baphomet card is great for the physical damage increase. Next is Weapon. There's basically only one you need to use for PvE, which is Heavens, and ideally you want it to get to Refine 15. For enchants, the Sharp 4th enchant, Sharp Blade 4th enchant, or physical damage increase is great. For cards, the Drake Star card or Menorah Star card are ideal for killing bosses. Next for headwear, Bashful Moment is popular if you don't like to switch your headwear. If you're converting elements, then Homestead of Snowy Owl is great if the target is the inferior element. For example, if you're converting to water and hitting fire. If you're not converting, then Duchess of Bat is ideal if you're attacking the target with inferior element, and it also adds holy attack. For enchants, the Zeal 4th enchant or critical damage is great. For cards, the Adumbla card for penetration percentage or Machine Dragon Wing card for MVP damage is great. Next for face, Illusory Light Mirror is great for auto attack damage. Meow Wave is also good due to the vulnerable effect, and that's the one that I see Jesus using. For enchant, critical damage or physical damage increase are good. Next for mouth, Shape of My Heart is the standard one people use. Ocean's Attachment is a new gacha which was released that can also be a good alternative. For enchants, the Zeal 4th enchant or critical damage is great. Next for back, Goodwill Gift Box is popular. Wrathgrassi Fallen Feather is great too for the Lex. If you're using Holy, then Starfield Poem is good. For enchant, the Sharp 4th enchant is good. Next for tail, Rock Bunny is great for MVP damage and move speed. Fox Helleld is great for auto attack damage. For enchants, the Sharp Blade 4th enchant or physical damage increase are great. Next are Shadow Equipment. Jesus is using the plus 15 versions of Vinked Magic Bracelet, Tyrannical Armor, and Cloud Undershirt. For footgear, he's using the plus 15 St. Mary's Cloth Shoes. These were the equipment Rune Masters used to use prior to Ancient Equipment, so it's great that they're finally coming back. Next for Oracle Mirror, he uses the plus 15 slash for the auto attack damage increase. For the defensive Oracle Mirror, he uses the plus 15 Cardo for the M-Def increase. Next for Ancient Relic, Jesus uses the Horn of the Unyielding since it gives him the HP shield. This gives him way more survivability because after all, if you're dead, you have 0 DPS. Lord of Vayne is also a great alternative too. Next, let's see whether it's worth playing the Rune Masters at various deposits and gear. First is Apex Alpaca. This account would match the experience of someone playing the game for less than a year. This account was played very casually, so many things are not maxed. At 11% deposit, 1278 attack, and 925 magic attack, this adventure handbook is definitely lacking. You'll need to be more aggressive in crafting headwear, buying cards, and making furniture if you want to do better. Personally, I had tried RM on my other main account with less than 30% deposits and around 2000 attack and magic attack. I'd say that without that, you'll feel really weak. This is his gear overall. Definitely not the most optimal setup. This was just the best gear I had for this account. Some gear that wasn't mentioned in the gear section includes the Mirror Roland card for MVP damage. These MVP damage event cards were great when they were released. I wish they would release these again since they are fantastic for free-to-play players. The same goes for the Heart card for MVP damage. The Eternal Kingship was an event item for MVP damage, and Thunder Sun gives good MVP damage. This is a past gacha. For Okomeru, I use the Combustible Knife. For Relic, I use a Bleak Way Sai. For Heavens, unfortunately, is not tier 5. The tier system does help a ton for those lacking damage, and it was a great addition to the game. For Guild Blessings, things are not maxed out. You'll feel it if you don't max offensive guild buffs. You also need magic attack and MDef to be maxed out. I wouldn't recommend you play Rune Master unless your guild blessings are in better shape. With stealth buffs, he has 11,000 attack, 12,000 magic attack, 31.5% penetration, 104.3% critical damage, 27.5% auto attack damage increase, 74% damage, 110.4% physical damage increase, and 11% water damage increase. I'll be converting to water against his Legend Golem. I ate my converters and my 3 Rune Stones, also rapid attack alloy. I cast Sword Parry, then prepare for Elite. I cast the Death Awakens. I hit the Golem for around 301,000 damage. Unlike other classes like Novice Guardian or Saitama, Rune Masters won't feel busted unless your deposits and gear are better. It doesn't have high multipliers just by itself, and unfortunately Apex Alpaca is in the depression phase. Next, how about my main WobblyWallaby? Rune Masters has been a long-term project for years. I tried this class since I had 20% deposits. In these tests today, I'm going with 70% deposit, since this is a more reasonable deposit for semi-pay-to-win players. My attack is at 2,956, and my magic attack is at 2,336. Here's my gear overview. For all my ancient equipment, they have the ideal random attributes maxed out. Against the Legend Golem, I do need to use the water attack percentage accessory, otherwise my damage is too low. Same with Homestead of Snowy Owl. Unfortunately 70% deposit and this gear isn't good enough for me to use without switching out gears. Contrast this with my other main, Saitama, where I don't have to do any item swapping since the class itself is very strong. My Rune Master got out of the depression zone after getting tier 5 Heavens and getting the Drake card. Those made a big difference. Other factors include getting the plus 10 Cardo for the MDef or Okomeru. Unfortunately for offense, I don't have the Slash and I instead use the Combustible Knife. And finally for Ancient Relic, the Lord of Vayne makes a huge difference for the MDef, Elemental Coefficient, and the penetration percentage. The Shadow equipment has helped too, and so far these are the ones I use. With stealth buffs, I have 23,000 attack, 35,000 magic attack, 48.4% penetration, 152% critical damage, 52% auto attack damage increase, 151.4% damage, 127.8% physical damage increase, and 69% water damage. I cast stealth buffs and hit the Golem. I hit for around 7.6 million damage per hit, and it goes up to 8 million later on. Unfortunately, even with this damage, it isn't enough to kill the Golem. I give it a few attempts, and in all cases, the unavoidable insta-kill from the Golem finishes me off. I would say the damage is good, but not busted. When I use my main class like Saitama, then the boss goes down much quicker, and the class feels super busted. This account is slightly after the depression period, but hasn't caught up to the DPS of other classes. I also wish that the Death Awakens duration was longer. Once it is done, the damage falls down to about 5.7 million damage. Also, if it's Saint, I could probably clear this, but I did want to try this solo since on my other accounts I don't have a Saint to help me. Finally is my whale beta account, Wobbly. The Adventure Handbook is insane. It has 140% attack deposits, 4,889 attack, and 4,427 magic attack. Next for gear overview, it has some of the best gear you can get, including the plus 15 Heavens. This is definitely gear I wish I had. For Oko Mirror, it uses the plus 15 penetration knife. There is no slash on this account. This account also doesn't have Cardo. For Relic, I'm using the Lord of Vane. With stuff buffs and foods, I have 35,000 attack, 60,000 magic attack, 71% penetration, 283.1% critical damage, 64.5% auto attack damage increase, 213% damage, 135% physical damage increase, and 27% water damage increase. I cast up buffs, then run towards the golem. I hit the golem for about 24 million per hit, which is definitely the broken power of Rune Masters, and where the Rune Master's DPS starts to go above other DPS classes. The golem will go down quickly, and I think this damage is what people expect, but with lower deposits and worse gear, this is something that people can only strive for. I'll continue working on my Rune Master, and I hope in the future it'll also be viable. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Here's a video that I would recommend. If you want to learn more about gachas to boost your damage, then check out this playlist over here.